Good morning, Northern Michigan, and welcome to Friday Face-Off here on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by TVCAirport.com. Jerry Coyne, Rich Calkins, and Gordon Miller, Miller Lending, in studio. Was anybody shocked at the announcement yesterday about, you seem to be very shocked, Rich, about Dylan Larkin asking for a trade? I'm not at all. But, you know, and there's a lot of talk. It was dominating after the announcement came out on 97, won the ticket yesterday afternoon and again this morning. But, you know, to me, Dylan Larkin doesn't deserve to be the captain of the Detroit Red Wings. The only reason why he is because he's been there a long time and they got a deal on him. Right. It's the only decent lucky draft they've gotten in the last 10 years. As Larkin was sitting there because a couple other teams passed on him. Maybe they should have. One of the things I didn't get a chance to do is to look at our draft picks for the last 10 years. I know we've been screwed on lottery picks. There's no doubt about that.
For sure.
You know, the puck luck for Red Wing drafts has been crap.
Zadina. Filling the
Austin
net
Matthews.
with pucks.
Yeah.
No, I meant Red Wing picks.
Yeah.
With Zadina. I'm going to fill the nets with pucks. Of all those teams that did not take me. That's the thing that's driven me nuts over the years, and I'm fine with it because he is not a captain. And I think it's hurt the team every single 3 years in a row in playoff runs. You don't have that leadership to get these guys out of a funk. You don't have the production. Right. You don't have a captain that's saying, follow me, guys, and let's go into the trenches. So, if nothing else, he shouldn't be a captain anymore.
Right.
But, at this stage.
Mo Sider, welcome to the captaincy, probably.
That's what I was thinking.
No?
I don't think they're going to have a captain. At least, I mean, depending on what. First and foremost,
I think everybody will, but.
Just because a guy demands a trade.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean it's going to be traded, right?
I mean, there were some interesting thoughts about this. Did Steve Yzerman go, have a conversation with him that ended up going like, do you really want to be here? I mean, right. Being the captain of the Red Wings maybe doesn't mean as much as it used to. It used to mean a hell of a lot.
Right.
From Stevie to Zetterberg, Alex Delvecchio was the captain for a long time. And because the Wings have not made the playoffs in, 12 years now, 11 years?
Larkin's whole career.
I'm just saying. Was Larkin a captain at U of M? I don't know.
Good question.
May have been, may not have been. He was a very good hockey player at U of M.
I think we brought this up over this season, but, and I was talking about it with the difference in the Olympics, but when you would see Larkin abused the last 2 to 3 years, there really wasn't anybody jumping in to kick the butt of the guy that just cross-checked him into the hospital.
Yeah, but who? But
they don't have anybody.
Well, it's not that they haven't defended anybody. It's not like, well, we don't like Larkin, so we're not going to stand up for him.
God,
Raymond gets pounded in the boards. They got nobody coming in to help him. I mean, it's been a long time since we've had, a Darren McCarty-like enforcer.
Right.
And and he was not. Kosar was an enforcer. Okay.
Right.
Because Joey Kosar would knock your block off, and Probert as well. Darren is not nearly as big as either of those guys. I don't know if you've ever. I knew Bobby Probert. I partied with Bobby Probert. The big boy.
Right.
Probert is 1/3 larger than Darren McCarty. Right. You've seen Darren.
Right. He's not big.
Around like a little kid.
No, it's So I want to propose a trade for a Tkachuk.
No, that's not happening.
Which one of those teams would love to have Larkin? I mean, there was talk about Tkachuk moving on.
Well, Brady. There's talking about Brady.
I'll take Brady.
Ottawa.
I'll take Brady.
But I don't think Florida's moving.
Well, I said either Tkachuk. I will take Brady, although, I mentioned that I thought he changed the whole Ottawa Hurricane season by taking on Stahl, which was probably the one guy that he shouldn't have taken on. But,
right.
But, the Red Wings have been soft for the last several years, and it's disgusting. In front of the net, you watch hockey now in front of the net in the playoffs, and nobody gets to stand there with their stick going at the goalie for 4 or 5 pokes. If they do, they're on a pile. They're under the pile.
Right.
The Wings just don't They don't do that, and when you get into and I would say that March, April is playoff hockey because you're playing for your life at that point. When playoff hockey steps up, they've stepped back.
Yeah.
And you've got to take a look hard at yourself to see what's going on there. And Larkin has not produced 3 straight years in that stretch drive.
And you look at the toughness top to bottom in this team. Who's the last guy really that has been a tough dude that you can say in that lineup is going to, give you that physicality that you need at times.
I thought JVR was going to be the guy, and he gets over here from Philly, and he's not a bully anymore. he fit right into the culture. He's like, okay, we don't need to hit here. No hits, all right. No penalties, no checking. I went to a game in Carolina against the Red Wings. There was 1 penalty the whole game, and I think a total of 4 hits. And that it was just like skating up and down. There was nothing happening at all. They lost 4-0. It was almost like a lopsided soccer game where you see one team on the other half of the field the whole game. There was just nothing happening in the other end. The goalie was very, very comfortable that day.
That Larkin has played well in like the Four Nations, the Olympics, things like that. So he's showcased when he's obviously around really good players.
With a softer game.
Yeah.
He fits a softer game. I mean, we talked about that too, where the championships were not physical.
Yzerman was not a physical player. I mean, he was protected. But, I mean,
lots of protection.
Maybe Yzerman has had it as well. There's a reason why, I mean, obviously he's not a coach, he's a general manager. There's a lot of reasons why great players make crappy coaches.
There's a litany of them.
Yeah. Because they how come these guys can't do what I did? It was so easy for me.
Yep.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy being dominant.
Right.
You got to get up and want to chew it every single day, and it gets exhausting. And, and some guys, a lot of people are cut out for it. Some guys make better GMs, but there's not even really a ton of great players that have been great general managers. Larry Bird did an okay job.
Yep.
But
Indiana.
but that's because he moved from the coaching and into it. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't happen.
And he built Tampa differently. That's the thing.
Well, he
too.
got
and he had
Take
one.
a look at this.
He got lucky, and he had one coach.
I pulled up.
This is 5 coaches now for Larkin, isn't it? It's like coach of the day.
Okay, so the 2019 draft, Mo Seider, great player.
Great,
he's going to be. He's going to be with Detroit as long as he doesn't want to opt out and please trade me. The next guy in that draft, number 35, was Antti Tomusio or whatever. He's never played in the NHL. Third pick, number 54, Robert Massimoni. No, not one day on the ice in the NHL. Albert Johansson played 143 games for the Wings or somewhere. I don't know. I don't remember the name.
Grand Rapids.
And the only other guy in that draft pick at 159 was Elmer Soderblom. He was supposed to be the big kid that was going to push everybody around.
And he will be for Pittsburgh. Because he did play well in the playoffs, and I thought, why did they give him away?
Well, why did they give Ghostberg away?
God.
Okay, the next draft, 2022, Lucas Raymond. Okay, good pick there, right? The second pick, number 32, William Wallander. Third pick, number 51.
He's still in Sweden, right?
Theodore Niederbach.
Need another Niederbach.
Yeah, number 55, Cross Hanas. Never. Okay, then the next guy, at number 63 in the third round, Donovan Serbango.
Oh, wow.
44 games, no goals, 8 assists. Everybody else in that draft never saw any ice time.
Right.
All right? So, this is what is killing them. Simon Edvinsson has been a decent player. He was our first pick in 2021. Kosa was the next guy. We picked him at 15.
Yep.
He's played one day in the NHL. Now, they're talking about trading him, right?
Using him as trade bait, yep.
And Carter Mazur's played 9 games. That's it. That was the end of that spectacular draft. 2022, Marco Kasper.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We're waiting.
But that's 2022.
Yeah.
Okay?
So,
That's 4 years ago. And he's played 159 games.
Well, you can just look at Danielson as an example. I mean,
everybody else we taken in the 2022 draft never has seen the ice for the Red Wings. So, you tell me whose fault this is. And it's just like that even past that. What did I say, 2022? So 2023, Nate Danielson played 28 games. Sandin Pelika, they started playing him a little bit. Nobody else. Trey Augustine, Andrew Gibson, Brady Cleveland. All these guys, they've never seen the ice.
And I remember when they drafted Danielson, the thing that he wasn't like a real prolific goal scorer, but he was a two-way player. Yeah, he played defense. And that's the Yzerman thing. It's like you got to be able to play some defense.
Well, that's because, and somebody pointed that out, when Scotty Bowman first got here, after his first year coaching the Wings, he let Yzerman have it in the press. He's like, you're soft.
Right.
I mean, you don't play defense. You can't be captain of the Red Wings. You've got to, and Yzerman stepped up.
Right.
And,
Boy, does that sound like today.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough love from a coach. That doesn't happen very often.
McClellan tried calling him out.
He did, yeah.
More than once, and all it did was lead to a trade request. Oh, my God. That's a bad sign right there. It's like, you want me to play harder? I will, if I'm out of here.
The 2024
white flag comes
The 2024 draft, who we took at number 15 was Michael Bergsgrad Nygren. He's played 14 games. Nobody else in that draft has ever seen the ice. And then last year we took Carter Bear. I mean, they were, I don't know when Carter Bear will be ready. I haven't even heard his name down in the Griffins.
I haven't heard it. Yeah.
I don't know if he's still playing in the Sioux.
Where's Keith?
Yeah.
We should be
Keith texting?
We should say,
There'd be a quick
he
answer.
played for the Everett Silvertips in the world in the WHL.
So he hasn't come over yet.
Cronenborg, Michael Pradel, Brent Solomon, Michael these are all the guys. I have no idea where any of these guys are.
Do they have anybody they've taken beyond the third round since Yzerman's been there that's actually made it?
Yeah, one guy.
Soderblom, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh, well, he's gone.
No,
And he's gone.
He's gone.
Jonathan Erickson. Well, that was in 2020. That is not a. That's wait a minute. That's 2002.
Right. He's retired already.
Yeah. When did Yzerman take over?
Let's see. Was it 11 years in the Yzer plan? So
No, I thought it was 8.
7 or 8,
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
too long.
So that would be 2018, right? Let's say 2019. Soderblom was a 6th rounder.
Yeah, 2019 draft would be his first.
Finney was a 7th rounder. He's been okay.
Yeah.
He had a great start to the season, tailed off. But no, I mean...
And that was 7 years ago.
Yeah, that was 6
Wow.
years ago.
I don't have time.
I'm just,
I don't have this much time. They either get to work here, or I'm not even going to know who I am by then. It's like, guys, come on. I see a long-term contract, Rich, in baseball, and I'm like, oh, God, I'd be 87.
Right.
What the hell is happening here?
I know. I feel the same way. It's
I can't
just
do this.
Come on. Is there the here and now? It is upon us. Let's go. Let's win some stuff here.
Since I was 20, I think I always said that if the Lions could win a Super Bowl, I will die happy. I can't live to be 116.
that's why...
They're going to have to do something.
I mean, it's borderline... Well, Lions is borderline Chicago Cubs stuff, right?
Get rid of the GOAT then.
Yeah.
The curse of the babe. I don't care. Just make it happen.
What do you... Don't look at me like that.
The Lions are winning the Super Bowl this year.
Really?
This year?
Well, this year, okay.
All right.
All right.
We've got
That
it.
means that the Lions will not sustain one... we already have a
Call
draft
their
pick.
shot.
We already have a draft pick out for the year.
ACL, yeah, the Kentucky kid.
It's a good thing we're not counting on him for...
Yeah.
Well, I think the Bears are going to release Khalif Raymond since they're so deep in receiver now. I mean, it's just read Bears chat.
Well, they just
now.
replaced him with that kid from the...
Ridiculous.
Let's not... I'm just saying, if they're going to trade Dylan Larkin, and that's an if. I don't think, the way they were talking about it on the radio, when we trade Dylan Larkin. Okay, well, I don't think Yzerman's giving him away.
Yeah, he will not do that.
I mean, if you're giving him away for picks or whatever, the Wings are back at the bottom, and,
I think the Quinn Hughes debauchery was probably the
It was
last
that's
the
what I
last straw
thought
for
was
that
the
team.
final straw for
Yeah,
Larkin.
it really felt like it. It's like, okay, we're not going to give up a
Because they were
another-
talking behind the scenes. Hughes is probably telling, "I want to be there, man. You know, I want to play for the Wings."
That was so
I mean, there's
disappointing.
an element of luck in where your ping pong balls go,
Sure.
and who develops and who doesn't. Right now, we just went through this litany. Are the Wings horrible at developing players? It
Yep,
sure
Grand
looks
Rapids.
like it.
Grand Rapids has
Well,
been.
Grand Rapids, we always have the Griffins, another Calder Cup.
Yeah,
God, I think they lost this year, but I there was a point where I was telling buddies of mine that they're not bringing this guy up because they give a crap about the Calder Cup instead of the playoffs. It's like, are you kidding me?
Maybe the DeVos family is paying the
Illich.
Illich family. No.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
We're going to take our championships over here.
I could ask EZ that. EZ is the on-ice
That's
announcer.
true, he is.
He's been doing that for 10 years. Our morning guy
God.
is the on-ice announcer.
the
for-
Zaner.
Yeah.
So what-
Not only for them, but for the Grand Rapids Gold as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the G League team out there. So, every once in a while I check in on him, and I've been asking him about Kosa for years, and he's like, I don't think he's ready. He's a very big guy with,
Yeah.
not the greatest feet.
Who, when he was drafted, by the way, was supposed to be the actual, what did they say at the time,
They
second
drafted
or
him in the
third best
first-
goalie?
They drafted him.
He wasn't the top,
15 in the
and
first round.
he wasn't the top-rated goalie either. And it's like, well, they know something nobody else does. Yeah, they know
they
that
didn't- and they
he's going to
didn't-
lead Grand Rapids
and
to
he
a
didn't get
Calder
played
Cup.
in the playoffs this year. They chose one of their other.
Yeah, they chose
and,
the
and
other
that
guy.
looks really good if you're going to deal Kosa.
Right.
Okay, so we want to. Are we afraid that he's going to give up too many goals and we can't win the Calder Cup?
Right.
Or he's going to embarrass himself in the Calder Cup and we can't. So
Lessen
let's
his-
just sit him on the bench. That makes all these NHL scouts want him all the more.
He should have demanded a trade. Now he's the one that actually deserves.
Michigan State can
Well,
trade goalies.
Augustine's going to try to get a 6th year at Michigan State to not go into with the Wings. I'm joking.
Yeah, probably.
But, I mean, yeah, that was the big thing. All this depth they have at the goaltending position.
And yet their backup goaltenders have sucked for the last 5 years.
I know.
Until they leave.
Yeah.
And then they be Alex Lyon. And then he leads Buffalo to the playoffs, and everything's great again.
Okay, we have cheerier news coming up here after the break on Up North Sports Radio, brought to us by TVCAirport.com.
Let's not get too Red Wing. Too
It's time for Destination MLB. Jerry Coyne on the phone with the airport director at Cherry Capital, Kevin Klein. Kevin, what's the word today? Man, I was at the airport yesterday. I couldn't believe how busy it was.
Yeah, summer's rocking. Summer's here. We've got some great fairs that are out there. People are traveling. I think, summer's going to be busy, but it's going to be a good summer. So we're very excited about it. There's so much going on, not only here in northern Michigan, but for our northern Michigan friends to go anywhere, not only in the country, but in the world. So now's the time to travel because there's great fairs out there.
Well, Autumn shied away from she gave us a couple of Tiger destinations and then started hitting us up with the World Cup because the Tigers were taking some pretty bad beatings the last few weeks. Now they're giving us some hope.
Yeah, their bats are going. They were hitting some home runs finally. I mean, come on. What's better than that? So, yeah, Cleveland 339 here coming up June 12th to the 14th. Houston's a little expensive, but that's because that Houston flight's selling out. $897.
Wow.
Same thing with the Yankees. But, however, let's plan to go to Texas July 2nd. $378 nonstop on American. Pretty good prices there. Then following that, we have Los Angeles on the July 17th at $349. You can't beat going
cheap.
to California
Yeah.
for $349. That's awesome.
Yep.
Chicago's about $460. That's not too bad. And then, you start getting into playing the Athletics at $505. Again, not bad. The Mariners in August, $575. That's going via Sun Country. Not too bad. So, yeah, pretty cool prices going on right now. But the one thing Autumn did point out, she said, not only you got to plan for the Tigers, she did bring up the World Cup, but she said you talked about the Lions playing in Germany.
Yep, the Frankfurt flight. Yep.
Yep, it's $950. So that is awesome for Europe. Europe I've seen as expensive as $1,800. So I'm telling you, if you're going to the Lions game in Germany, $950. Now's the time to buy that because that's a great European fair. And so we wanted to make sure that was out there. And
Yep.
I do have a few of those flights for playing in Los Angeles on the 12th, 5:55 USA against Paraguay, and so that's there.
Did you say Uruguay?
No, Paraguay. You know who they are.
The Paraguayans?
And Paraguayans. There you go. And then Haiti and Scotland and they're playing in Boston. That's 303.
Yeah.
And then now this is funny because I gave you that New York fair for the baseball game, but for the soccer game, because you can go into the New Jersey on that one.
Yeah, they're playing at the
Yeah, it's $500.
There you
so
go.
it's half the price of going into New York City. So yeah, and then you have in San Francisco, you got Qatar versus Switzerland at $464. So some great prices there on the World Cup, and then even going in later in the next week, the Spain versus Cabo Delta's $558, and then even Seattle with Belgium versus Egypt at $509. So great prices out there for some of this West Coast travel. Normally, West Coast travel we see is at $600 to $900. So when we're seeing prices that are $300 to $400 to $500, those are great prices.
And
of course,
and you don't have to spend a ton of gas money instead of driving down to Metro or Gerald Ford in Grand Rapids, just in your backyard at TVC Airport.
You've got it. Fly from nearby.
All right. Kevin Klein, where do they find those great fairs?
They can get them at tvcairport.com.
Thank you, partner. We'll talk to you next week.
See you soon.
Bye-bye. There you go.
Of course, Kevin enjoyed very much the revitalized Detroit Tigers off of that sweep. What do you think about that there, Gordo?
Oh, I'm ordering playoff tickets.
Okay, so we welcome another first-place team now back to Detroit after they beat Tampa in Tampa with 3-game sweep. But Seattle without Cal Raleigh, He's on he has an oblique issue, so he starts a rehab assignment on Sunday. So
Dylan Dingler's a better catcher than Cal Raleigh.
for sure.
I mean,
yeah,
I don't know if Raleigh caught lightning in a bottle.
right,
Like,
that kind of a one-time deal there.
a lot of people actually kind of predicted that he would have a massive fall off this year because he played so many
much.
games
Right.
behind the
Yeah.
plate last year. And
Which
I
is
give the
why
guy
it
all
was
the
so
kudos
unusual.
in the world. He was
Right.
the driving force behind, that
Sure.
Seattle team that you can say what you want about the Tigers and their bats at the end of last year, but that was a fantastic series of baseball.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. 14-inning game. I mean, it was.
Yeah.
The thing that's fun about baseball, and all Brad Ausmus used to say is, "Well, that's baseball."
Yeah.
And
I texted it to you.
Yeah.
So Tampa has an old friend of mine as their broadcast. Neil Solondz was from the Durham Bulls. And so I decided this series to listen to the Tampa broadcast
Sure.
on satellite radio.
Sure.
They couldn't believe it. They're
were
like,
shocked.
they've scored 2 runs in a month.
Yeah.
And now they're scoring every first inning more than they've scored in 19 of the last 21 games. And it was just, and Tampa was throwing the ball all over the place.
At the very top of the lineup.
It's bizarre.
I mean,
It does change the dynamic.
It changes things for everything. It changes the amount of what style of pitches the lineup is going to see throughout
exactly.
it. It just calms everything down. The pressure when they're in that skid with guys that are not professional hitters, and you're hoping. We talked about this. Hope is not a strategy.
It is
I
not.
hope that Zach Short can actually barrel up the ball. Well, that's a hope. That's like
Right.
it's like Little League.
He's 31.
And you got a rally going on, and Jimmy Nosepicker
Right.
is the next one up in the bat. And
No,
you're like,
Jimmy, you're holding the wrong end of the bat. No, the handle's
I mean,
here.
the biggest difference, and it's not so much that Torres and Carpenter are back in the lineup. It's the guys that are no longer in the lineup.
Right, exactly.
I mean, and there's still there's still a couple of guys.
I mean, Zach Short's WAR was minus
Yeah.
4.3. You
It was
can't
like
even
the-
do that.
It was the worst in baseball.
He's been designated more times this year than any
He's gonna be
volunteer
a
driver.
He was
Oh, my
outright
God.
released. Right? I mean, outright released, and then
Yeah.
they had to bring him back.
And when did they release Dylan Smith? That he's
I don't even know who Dylan Smith is.
Dylan Smith came up last year. He was a second round draft pick that pitched in relief
Pitcher?
a lot.
Yeah.
From down south. And then I
Look, the Tigers have
is in San Francisco
The
now?
Tigers have the eighth best starting staff in baseball. It's been the one shining light of this.
Yeah.
And that's without Flaherty. And he's pitched pretty well the last three outings.
Finally got rewarded there with that
Finally
first
got rewarded,
win.
yep.
Because it was only Tampa.
Well,
But-
they had just gotten swept by Boston the week before, so it's the old.
Yeah.
It's not who you play; it's when you
When
play.
you-
Well, I
Right.
told you last week that Tampa
No, I
was
know, but
Tampa was
Seattle,
scuffling a little
Seattle's
bit.
had just as bad a start to this season as the Tigers have,
But-
they're starting to play
But
better.
they've won
they-
8 out of their last 10 now, and
Right.
so yeah,
They
they're
just
only
lost.
3
They-
games
yeah.
above 500, and
Right.
they're in first place by a couple of games.
No, it's,
so yeah,
it's ridiculous how mediocre. We've been talking about this during this Tiger skid, how bad hitting is throughout the major leagues, period.
Right.
And it's going to be super, super interesting, this trade deadline. Obviously,
it is.
there's reports the Tigers are not sellers yet.
Well,
Yeah.
right. We'll
Does
see.
that- I don't
We'll
care.
see him again on Monday, but not yet. If they have a good weekend,
I mean, yeah,
But it's
they
just-
take 4 out of 6 here, or 5 out of 6. I mean, look I was just hoping, is there a chance the Tigers can take 2 out of 3 in Tampa? They
hadn't won a series since
it was
April.
all
Yeah.
set up for them to lose the Wednesday afternoon game. Who pitched for Tampa? Is, 1.63
Yeah.
ERA is 5-1. I mean,
Yeah.
and they
It
just
did not look good.
carved
Nick
Tampa
Martinez,
up.
did.
Yeah.
right? And that's another thing they had pointed out is all season long he hadn't given up 3 runs, and he's given up 3 in the first inning.
He gave up 6.
He gave up 6 altogether.
It's
The one thing
But they're getting
I'll
balls. Look at the balls
Yeah.
that didn't find holes. all found the holes, and that's baseball.
So they need to play indoors. They're undefeated this season indoors. They can't handle the sunshine.
How many
It's going to be a long season.
I'd have to. You got to give me a minute. Well, Miami. Miami
Okay,
has
so there's
one.
3 then.
Diamondbacks have one.
That's it. The 2 in Florida.
Seattle has one.
But the dome is open 90%.
Yeah, that's
of
a
the time.
retractable,
Yeah.
right?
The
Yeah.
only time that's closed is when it rains. But it is Seattle, so that means
Which
half
is
the
a lot.
time.
Yeah.
Right.
Toronto
Seattle
can
rains.
close, they can close the dome in Toronto, but they rarely do because it takes them like
Takes-
2.5 hours.
Crank that thing out.
That poor,
4 more squirrels, please.
that guy doing it in the corner.
You think
No, it-
cranking up a boat launch is
You know,
tough?
I will say, you know, and you know, I was a baseball guy growing up, and I pitched a lot growing up. So I you know, when I've watched games the last 40 years, I tend to watch the batter and the pitcher in the strike zone, and I would get extremely frustrated with hitters just going up there with a bat on their shoulder, waiting to get ahead in the count, because you know you'd have a pitch, the umpires were miss. These games right now, when you have 6 reversed calls in the first 2-3 innings, tells you that umpire needs to go back to school. But the hitters can't sit back and wait to be 3-0 in the count again or ahead in the count all the time. So when you get an 0-2, what are you going to do? So the averages are down across baseball, but I would love to see a stat on 2-0 counts last year versus 2-0 counts this year, just to see if that makes sense. Because obviously, when you're at the plate, if you're up 2-0 in a count,
Yeah.
3-1's the best count in baseball to hit. You're waiting dead red fastball, but you know
Look,
it's been weird.
Just before all hope was lost, the Tigers give us a little bit of hope. And they got 6 games at Comerica Park. Until the skid started, they were the best home team in baseball. So, with some pretty good pitching, looks like did Verlander pitch last night?
I was going to ask that.
I don't
Is
know.
he pitching? Did he pitch last night?
He was supposed to go last night.
Yeah, because
and,
if
Skubal-
everything went
Skubal
well,
was
he was
tomorrow.
going to pitch then next week.
Yeah, because Skubal was tomorrow.
Tonight we have Exxon Valdez going against Brian Wu.
See, and there's the thing with that game is you're coming off of a 3-game surprise sweep, and you've got
Justin
you've
Verlander
got the
made a
ace.
scoreless rehab start
ace.
for the Mud Hens.
Valdez
Okay.
better pitch a no-hitter tonight. That's all I can say, because when you're coming back with momentum and you're at home and it's a nice Friday night and you know the weather's going
5
to be great.
scoreless innings
It'll probably rain.
against the AAA
It's gonna
Iowa
rain.
Cubs.
Wow.
5?
5
Scoreless.
scoreless innings.
All right, so he's
He
back.
threw 48 of his 64 pitches for strikes, didn't allow a ball in play over 99 miles per hour against an Iowa lineup that included 7 recent major leaguers.
Yep, expected to be activated next week.
Yeah.
And face the
I
face
expect-
the
he was
Twins.
throwing 99?
No.
No,
He
90,
did-
93 and a
as in
half.
velocity.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
90
okay.
93 and a
I was
half.
going to say,
So
because he had been
only
like
a
92.
couple of balls were made with real solid
Right.
contact.
Okay.
But Justin Verlander pitching against Triple A's, I mean,
Yeah.
he knows when to throw that curveball in there when you're not expecting it. When Verlander, his stuff is obviously not
When
the
his
same stuff he
curveball
had.
is on,
Right.
ooh,
But when he pitches backwards,
when the curveball is on, he's tough.
he's tough.
Yeah.
He's tough because
And he knows it too.
Sure, that is classic.
There's one beautiful thing about a pitch, like watching John Smoltz pitch or Maddox pitch.
Yeah.
They never really blew you away.
They
Right.
nibbled.
Yeah.
Maddox, the great nibbler of all
well,
time.
he did, but then he would cross everybody up.
Right.
I mean,
When you're
and-
expecting
and that-
one
and-
thing.
and that's one of the coolest things in baseball. When you're sitting dead red and and the slurve comes in at 72. and
Yeah.
like,
I was
And it just makes you look like a fool.
I was the biggest Randy Jones fan growing up. I'm like, this guy throws 78 and he won a Cy Young. It was so
ethos.
awesome.
yeah.
I'm like, this
Love
is
the
my
ethos.
guy. This is my screw the radar gun. This is my guy.
So, but the whole thing is going to really revolve on like the Tigers are not sellers yet. Well, there is no world unless Skubal comes back, hurts his arm again, that Skubal's not getting traded, right? You cannot Are we really still on the World Series plan? Are we still on the World Series
I,
plan?
I think until they fall out of the wild card, they're not going to do anything because as bad as as their record is, they're like 5 games out of the wild card,
Six,
but
yeah.
or still 6. But it's going to be interesting when Verlander and Skubal come back, and let's assume Skubal has a good outing on Sunday, and they're both back within a week. The rotation had rounded into form. You're not going to send Montero down again. But what I was hoping, and here's my hope of all hopes right now, is that Melton becomes the closer temporarily. You're going to have 7 starters when those guys come back, a solid 6 starters anyway. Mm-hmm. And who's going to go? And you can't send them down, and you need bullpen help. So, I think Melton would be a great closer temporarily. Chris Sale started off as a closer before he became a starter. And, the starting pitching has been great. The starting pitching throughout that stretch was great, but when you average 2 runs a game, you're not – I mean, how many – we talked about how many games they lost after the 7th inning, but how many games did they lose after the 7th inning that through the first 6 it was quality starts?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's the difference is that you were getting a ton of quality starts.
And that's so deflating as a team.
Well,
you
there's
got
no
the,
doubt that's
I
what
mean,
happened.
just-
That's what was, and maybe that was the defining moment of this season. Hopefully it will be. They pitched incredibly well against the White Sox and lost all 3 of those games. And especially, and then people were bitching about the fact that he pulled Montero at 65 pitches on Sunday, and they ended up losing the game 2-1.
Yeah.
And
Just wait until he sends Montero back to AAA.
But look at, we talked about this last week about the White Sox resurgence and why aren't the Tigers in the same place? We'll see. There's 6.5 games. I mean, I would not count out the fact that they could easily catch the White Sox.
Oh,
there's
yeah.
6.5 games
question.
behind the White Sox. The White Sox are in second place in the wild card. Now they're playing a lot of young kids who are playing really well. Generally speaking, that doesn't last all year.
We got an all-star shortstop backup in Zach McKinstry, and he's batted 170 since the All-Star game, and he's still going out there every other day. It's great.
Well, it's better than Zach Short.
Him and Short, him and Short and Jemai Jones batting under 180. It's a trifecta that you just.
All right, we'll
you
be
just
back
love.
with more happy news here.
Lions talk.
Mortgage rates have dropped.
No, they went up today. They went up.
Back to after these from Up North Sports Radio 101.1 WGRY's Friday Face Up, brought to us by TVCAirport.com.
No more bad news.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Friday Face-Off here on Up North Sports Radio, 101.1 WGRY, brought to us by TVCAirport.com. Jerry Coyne, Rich Calkins, and Gordon Miller in studio. Please, we have you off camera for a reason. Okay.
There you go. Welcome aboard.
We didn't really, we talked Red Wing hockey because, of the news, but an amazing hockey game last night. Both these games have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, and both totally different. The heavy goal scoring in that first game, back and forth, Gordo, and it's just wild and absolutely. And then the Hurricanes dominate the game.
The key to winning?
2 3/4 periods there, and it's just what the heck went on. That was a wild third period.
I would tend to suggest that there's never been a Stanley Cup where the first two games the team down 2-0 early in the game came back to win them both. It's in the old days, if you had a 2-0 going into the third period, the other team didn't get a shot. You just dumped. You just dumped and played defense.
I now know that I am a lip reader because if you watch John Tortorella, I know what his favorite word is.
It begins with an F, doesn't it? Yeah, he's got
It
it.
begins with an F and it rhymes with puck.
Yeah. Well, that's what he was saying was puck, but it just the screen got a little glitch right then and looked.
But
but,
as you guys were texting after the first game, and the Red Wings are so far away from either one of these teams.
Yeah.
But it begs the bigger question, like, how did these teams get so much better than the Red Wings? The hardest cap in all of sports is the NHL.
They make trades. Both teams are very heavily involved in the trade market.
I'm not saying that they're not.
And we don't. Stevie has not pulled off a trade, correct? Free agent signings. But
well, no, there was a trade where they got Perron.
Real trades, but
well, he was the number one defenseman pretty much available at the trade deadline.
Or defensive forward, maybe. Yeah.
Well,
yeah. Right. Falk, maybe you meant. I don't know.
I don't know how. But again, he played fine for the Red Wings, but it's not. Blockbuster trades are going to be hard to pull off, but they don't seem to. That cloud does not come over us.
Carolina went. When the Wings were in the playoffs 25 years in a row, and of course, because I lived down there, Carolina missed the playoffs 10 years in a row. And when Carmano sold the team and Dundon came in, it didn't look like he had a plan, but he had a plan. And if you look at their roster, I would tend to guess that at least half that roster was acquired via trade and key pieces. And, you bring up like Shane
Gostisbehere is right?
Yeah.
Well, he was a free agent. And he decided to go right back to Carolina. We got him from Carolina. He went right back. Sure. And it's the fascinating thing about being down there and watching the hockey team is how many players have come back to play for Carolina. They like to golf. It's a great place to live. It's great weather. They like to golf. But the roster that they built, and I mentioned this before, just that the Canes all of a sudden are not a soft team. They were. They got bounced every year. They were. This is Rod Brendamore's personality now, and
no doubt.
What's going to be very interesting is Game 3 in Vegas.
Yeah, because
Vegas doesn't have a fan base. I'm curious to see how many Carolina fans end up there. But when I went out there, I took my son out. We went out. It's like, hey, let's go to a cup. It was Vegas and Washington. Yeah, and the elimination game was Mark Davis, his girlfriend, because they owned the team. Another reality star, I forget her husband.
Mark Davis he's part of the ownership group.
Correct, with the wife of the plastic surgeon that was on TV. So the four of them were there, walking in late.
He's such a handsome man.
Oh, his hairstyle. I've tried to mimic that hairstyle.
He gets a free bowl of soup with that every time.
for so long. But it was a Washington crowd. And, so the one thing that is great about playoff games in Carolina is that crowd is nuts.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That, they talk about how loud it is. And you're not going to have like a competing crowd saying, oh, we're going to be louder like the Bell Center. So, you're playing in 104-degree temperature outside, going to Vegas to play hockey. This is the NHL. Can you imagine telling Gordy back in the 70s, one day the Stanley Cup Final is going to be Las Vegas and Raleigh? Okay, sure. And I'm going to live to be 140. Okay.
Speaking of golf, I want to drop in. Lindsay could not come to the phone today. We've got a little bit of rain in the forecast the next couple of days, but it's spotty. There's lots of tee times available on all the 5 great golf courses at Shanty Creek. Go to shantycreek.com to book those. Sunday's going to be gorgeous, so I would grab those Sunday tee times early. And then Father's Day, you know, get a gift certificate for Dad, or book a tee time for Dad, and get out there and play with. You know, I don't know if you've seen these ads. You guys don't watch golf like I do. But
Only when I bet Scheffler.
Titleist is running these Father's Days ads for golf that are really so cool. And it's a phone call this dad makes to his daughter, and they're showing the father and the daughter playing in Scotland. And he just goes, "Hey, Debbie, I just want to tell you, I got home. I had the best time of my life. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Right.
I hope you enjoyed it as much as I have, and I love you." And that's the ad. And I'm like, I'm tearing up
Right.
now. It's just, you know, and I, you know, golf with your dad. My son Nick had stopped playing golf. I taught him how to play. And then I made him play with me in Ireland when I took the whole family out there. And he still references it to me. He goes, "Dad, you know, thanks for bringing me back into the game. You know, those rounds in Ireland I will never forget." You know, 4 hours on the golf course with your dad. One day your dad's not going to be around.
Right.
And one of the biggest regrets of my life was the fact, or it really wasn't my fault, my dad's game deteriorated so bad near the end of his life that he wouldn't play with me anymore.
Right.
So I never got a chance to have, like, that one final round.
You could have
And,
Top Golf.
Huh?
Should have gone to Top Golf.
That's fun.
Top Golf didn't exist 12 years ago.
Oh, darn it.
But I used to take my daughters golfing when I was still playing, and they loved it.
Yeah.
Of course, I would bait them with, there's going to be snacks, and I might let you drive the
Well,
cart.
there's a prime rib buffet.
That's right. So
Well,
no,
start with that.
I mean, that's
Just lead
it's
with that.
incredible.
Don't you know Rich Calkins?
Right.
It's prime rib.
I must have food.
So go to shantycreek.com, and that leads me just to another golf story. You know, I do host a golf show called Finding Fairways, and now we have a little side project called Five Guys, Bogeys, and Lies. It's me and a buddy of mine, John, brought me into this group. One of their guys dropped out, and we Zoom it, and it's kind of funny. We point figures at everything else.
Right.
But John jumped on yesterday, and he goes, "Hey, before we get started, I want to tell you something. You know, Jerry dragged me to one of the great golfing experiences of my entire life. John was living in Columbus when the Ryder Cup went there in 1987. And the Ryder Cup was not a very big deal then. We bought tickets, $20
Oh, my
at
gosh.
the gate
Really?
to watch the Europeans win for the first time on American soil at Jack Nicklaus's golf course.
I can't
That's
even get
Dan Pohl's one time as a Ryder Cup. And Dan, I know, is not listening, but Dan lost his match on the 18th hole. If he'd won that match, the Americans would have won the Ryder Cup.
And he still
Now, it
lives
wasn't
with
the
that.
last match of the day, so it was right in the middle of the group.
Is this where the Memorial is played?
Yeah.
That same course?
Yeah. So, and there was a lot of fascinating things that happened. I've been lucky enough to play at Muirfield a couple times. It's a really hard golf course, really beautiful golf course. But it's on TV all this weekend, and it's a lot of fun to just reminisce about that. But that was when the Europeans had a whole. We didn't even know how to pronounce Olazabal. If you looked at it, he was
Right,
he
yeah.
was
Jose
How
Maria.
is that right?
Jose Maria.
Well, they had, you know, Seve, who was the biggest star in golf
Yeah.
at the time, pretty much, and Sandy Lyle, who'd won a couple of majors. I never heard of Nick Faldo before. I never heard of Ian Woosnam before. I never heard of Olazabal before.
Right.
And this was the beginning of, you know, the European
Yes.
armada,
Yeah.
and took the Ryder Cup to where it is now, which is the biggest sporting event. You know, it's not as big as the Super Bowl here, but it is bigger than the World Cup in Europe.
Is it
It's
really?
crazy
Wow.
how many. You see it lately. I mean,
Oh,
how
yeah.
many Europeans come to the Ryder Cup? It's nuts.
Oh, it's everybody loves to defeat the U.S. That's why.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
It's like,
And,
all right.
You know, we better get our poop in a scoop as golfers. But yeah, our Friday face-off show is at 9 o'clock here, both on Saturday and Sunday. And you can catch it on YouTube and our Up North Sports Radio Facebook page. There's a shameless plug. And then just to wrap up with what's going on in sports, the NBA championship. Do you know they
They
by
played.
Northern Michigan, they play basketball.
They played a game.
Yeah,
They did.
They played a damn good game, as a matter of fact.
That's what game 2 will be interesting. I mean, the Knicks are on a bit of a roll. and
I'm really impressed with Brunson, how making tough shots down in the lane, deep threes.
He's
That
got
guy.
so much Isaiah Thomas in him. Not that he's, Isaiah was shiftier and everything
Yeah.
else, but when Isaiah had to score, I remember watching him play against Ralph Sampson, and he just knew how much loft he had to put on to get it past Sampson.
Right.
And Brunson just knows how to score the basketball.
He does.
Some guys,
He uses the glass just perfectly.
he knows his angles.
Yes,
and he knows how to. And he's not a flopper. I mean, he hits the ground.
Did he get touched on that injury that he had that he left the floor for?
Yeah, both of them. He got stepped on his ankle.
Yeah.
after
I couldn't
his
see a lot
knee.
of contact
He got kicked
on
in the
that.
knee. I don't. That kick in the knee didn't look that bad, but you never know.
Yeah.
You know
Right.
when you're running around and something happens. And
Sure.
But then he came back and he left for injury against Detroit before came back. There's something magical going on in that locker room.
They might have some Chinese herbs.
There is something
Yeah, right.
going on. There's a magic
There's a
shot going
gummy.
in there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, it's
We
neat.
don't
It's
know.
neat.
We don't
It's
want to
neat.
impair you too much. I mean, you still got to make jump shots.
Right.
But this will work. It's like the pill in that movie. I forget the
I mean,
Bradley Cooper
tonight,
movie.
tonight's going to mean a lot to San Antonio. You lose 2 in a row at home.
At home.
and you're in big trouble. And
Carolina almost did that in the Stanley Cup.
and the amount of money that people have in New York is just obscene.
God,
6 figures to sit on the floor at Madison.
Oh my God.
God, it makes me want to root for San Antonio.
I think I've said this before. Rich knows this for sure. My favorite sports team of all time is the 1970 Knicks.
Well, Willis Reed,
Dave DeBusschere.
Yeah, but that's different.
Well, Dave DeBusschere was a family friend, and he taught me a lot about basketball. He was a teammate of my dad's.
Played for the White Sox.
Yeah, one of the last two sport athletes
and
ever.
Senator Bradley was on that
Yeah,
team.
Senator
And Walt
Bradley.
Frazier and Earl Monroe.
Well, most of them are dead. I mean, only Bradley and Frazier are still alive.
I used to mimic.
It's good to see
Earl
Clyde
Monroe.
around the team too.
He
You see
looks
him, yeah,
good.
He does.
I'm not so crazy about all the other Knicks. You see Latrell Sprewell there and Larry Johnson and all these guys that
Yeah.
didn't win
Oakley.
anything.
Different class.
Charles
I
Oakley.
like Charles Oakley. That guy, he was Jerry Coyne, only, much more menacing.
A little bit. Just right. Ask Dolan. I mean, yeah, he's a little bit menacing.
Oh
but
yeah.
But, the Knicks have always had a celebrity following. That 70 Knicks team.
Spike Lee's
Woody
been there
Allen
for
sat
40
on,
years.
Sat where Spike Lee is
Spike,
sitting, and
yes.
Robert Redford, and all Norman Mailer. I mean, the guy, the
Ben Stiller.
I mean, New York City is the basketball
Spider-Man.
center.
I
and
don't
so
know his
is
name.
Yeah.
and so is Madison Square Garden. I've been lucky enough to play there twice, and I don't begrudge the Knicks at all. I mean, 53 years is long enough, baby.
Sure. It would
I-
just be if they
it's-
do
it's
win
not
it,
the
is
Knicks.
dealing with the Knicks fans that
That's-
are in the
that's
media.
really-
That's the big deal.
Right. It's kind of like dealing with Ohio State fans. At some point, you just got to root against them. I'm
Yeah, but
sorry.
Ohio State's won. It was 53 years. Even then, I'm like, hey, it's probably time for Ohio State to win something.
Yeah.
See, my take is going to be that the Pistons, who blew them out 3 times this year, would have taken them down.
I don't think so.
I know, but
The
it's
way
fun.
they play
It's fun.
now
The
is
way
different.
they are playing totally different.
Carl
now.
Anthony Towns
Yep.
is playing so much
No
better.
doubt about it.
He didn't shrink in that first game.
No.
Drawing out Wemby to the perimeter like that was just.
But we'll find out
yeah.
tonight how exhausted San Antonio was because that 7-game series versus OKC.
And
even
the
even
Knicks
looking
coming
at
off
the
a
settings,
week.
man, we hate those guys.
Right.
And
That guy's so honest. It cracks me up.
And you have almost an example comparison here because the same thing as we talked about a couple weeks back when Carolina had the Olympic type break and came up against Montreal game 1, they were bad,
yeah.
just flat out bad. And you had the Knicks now that had this pretty long layoff
Yeah.
against coming off a 7-game series, winning at OKC. It's like you just won the NBA championship.
Right.
And, we got to,
Yeah.
it's a 7-game series.
And the Spurs,
I'm
they
kinda
were up
tired.
14 in the third quarter.
Yeah.
It looked like they're going to cruise
But
into it.
and they looked very tired. Wembyana tried to take over the game, and he had a little spurt there where he did. But
He's going to be beat to hell by the time the series is
Knicks
done.
the Knicks are a real team.
They
They've got a pretty solid bench, and it should be a great game tonight.
Yeah.
Robinson coming back really helped New York for this series because it's
Cat can play defense against Wembyana.
Yeah,
His footwork is pretty good.
It is.
and when this is going to be interesting because I think as the series prolongs, will the NBA protect Wemby? Because if I'm the Knicks,
You got to.
I'm doing a Hartenstein all over this guy the whole series. I'm frustrating him. I'm bumping him. I'm doing everything.
Well,
And
he's
they
never
got
gonna put on another 40 pounds. The thing
Right.
that'll be very interesting about Wembyana
see if he stays
is
healthy.
how much better his footwork will get. I mean, like if I'm Popovich in the Spurs Brain Trust, I'm hiring Kevin McHale and I'm bringing him in and I'm teaching him low post footwork because
he needs to add that to his game.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt. That's what kind of drives me crazy. He spends so much time on the perimeter. I'm like, you're 7'4", 7'5".
because they don't know you're in Europe.
Right, they don't do
know
that.
How to play.
That's why they
back
have
to the
guard
basket.
skills.
I'm just saying,
and
yeah.
I know it's true. I
Yeah.
know. I'm agreeing with
They
you.
do
I
not-
just but man, there's another way to play the game in which you can dominate. You know.
That was the problem. Dirk Nowitzki, great shot.
Yeah.
Darko Milicic, like the Pistons drafted him because we
Like
might
him.
get lucky.
Right.
And this guy might be the next Dirk Nowitzki.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't know how to play with his back against the basket.
Who needs Carmelo, Wade,
No.
Bosch?
Yeah.
Nah.
We got Darko.
Hey, we did win the NBA championship that year.
We didn't need Darko.
We didn't need Darko that year.
No.
He was the human victory cigar.
Yeah, there's no. Well, no, that was Chuck.
Bringing Melo off the
Then it went to
bringing Melo off the bench would have been a nice little.
No doubt about. I don't know if Melo would have fit in.
Yeah. True.
Ugh.
Well, it should have. Okay. That's.
Oh, I just my wife dead air.
Dead air. The best segment ever.
Try it now. Yeah, there we go. I don't know why that happened, but
Fired early.
yeah, we're going to be off in a couple of minutes anyways. But it shouldn't have fired. It was an assist, not
Yeah.
auto. So, anywho,
It was a great breakdown of the NBA final.
I don't know.
There's a
how-
game 2 tonight.
That was legendary. Pulitzer Prize winning.
Oh my God,
Audio for
Jerry, you had
the-
the points you made were incredibly accurate. I was impressed. Too
But
bad nobody got
Since
to
we're
hear it.
back on, and we'll wrap this up. What are the thoughts about the Myles Garrett trade?
I
And
liked
Aaron
it.
Donald is going to come back.
Yeah,
to the
looks
Rams.
like he really is. He's,
I mean,
I was a
That's
fan
just
of Jared
incredible.
Verse.
Jared Verse is a good football player.
He's
Oh, yeah,
a
he's very good.
When as soon as I saw it was Jared Verse, I said, "Oh, so it would have cost us Aleem McNeil." I got it. That wasn't going to happen. But
No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody's trading Myles Garrett for Aleem McNeil.
Well, I just mean Verse isn't as well known as McNeil making Pro Bowls and coming off a destroyed knee. But I mean, Verse has the potential to not be that far off from what Garrett contributes to the Rams.
100%. No, that's
Yeah.
why they made the deal.
right.
I mean,
It's-
according to
yeah.
Les Snead, they've been calling for a year.
Yeah, because remember the public thing was we're not trading, and this is why you constantly call. If you got a player you love, you keep that window open by talking to him all the time. Say, hey, we'll give you this. You got to keep doing that.
As soon as Max Crosby gets to camp, he'll be traded.
Somebody's going to make an offer for Max Crosby. I doubt it's the Lions.
Oh no! I mean, the Lions and Bears have the same philosophy. They're not going to go and make a big splash like that. That's
Why
just not
would you?
them. Why would you?
Well,
Cap
there
too
is a little
difficult.
bit of danger in making that kind of a deal in the NFL because if you're look at Micah Parsons.
Yeah,
I mean
he's not going to come back till
I don't know if it'll either the Lions or the Bears game in that October
Mm-hmm.
is where he's going to show up, and I don't know. I mean, we have our own injury concerns. We hear enough about Joseph and Brian Branch. Branch isn't going to play till at least November.
Yeah, exactly.
Joseph, maybe never.
Joseph, yeah, probably done.
You know,
I mean,
we will be looking at the waiver wire and who gets cut and everything else because we're going to need to have some safeties.
we are.
And hopefully the kid that they drafted from U of M
Yeah.
is an impact player. I would have rather had Barsham, to be honest with you. I think he has more athleticism, and but we're going to find out how good
Yeah.
Calvin Shepard is. And you know what I love? We'll leave it at this, and I'll take your guys' comments as well. What Dan Campbell said about OTAs is like, yeah, I got nothing. It doesn't. The Pajama Olympics, I don't care. You know, Aline looks okay. That's all I have to say.
But the good thing, we talked Aleem real quick. Remember, last year he was coming off that ACL, and when we talk about it a lot, Jerry, for years,
he had no
there's
trust.
a difference between rehabbing in the offseason or training for your profession.
Yeah.
Now this year he's been able to train. I think you'll see a better Aleem McNeil.
We better
see
a better.
We're going to have
Aleem
Well,
McNeil.
and Tyleek
And DJ Reed. I mean, there's a lot
yes.
of guys that
Yes.
did not play. Hey, look, I can testify that, you know, when I finally came back and actually could play basketball at UCLA, it's unbelievable how good your body feels when you're not dealing with anything. I mean, I played injured for so long, and that's all you think about. Even when you got a head cold or anything else, you got, damn it.
Yeah.
You know, I've got something going on with my shoulder right now. And it's just freaking annoying.
It is.
To be healthy and running around on the field like a kid
and
again
not have pain as the
and
number
not
one. Yeah.
believe what that feeling is like. It you know, it's like
Oh, I certainly can't. Not as old as I am now. Jeez. And I'd like to remember it, but the memory's not as good, so I can't really remember that either.
trust me, I still have the memory.
Somebody told me this happened.
As somebody, yes, exactly.
Yeah. Rich, do we got a head count for the canoe marathon?
We do not. I have not checked it as of yet to
Okay.
see. I do believe that you had mentioned. I do think we're probably going to have numbers will be down a little bit this year.
Yeah,
that's the feeling.
Gas prices. All right, that's going to do it for us here on Friday Face Off. Who's pitching tonight and what time?
We got Exxon Valdez,
Frambar.
and Brian Wu.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, with an 0.96 whip.
Yeah,
good pitcher.
Yeah,
Rick Flair, you can't do woo. That's Rick.
Woo!
No,
Yeah.
you can't. You now owe him 50
Didn't
cents.
sound good?
You took my leftovers.
He's got a trademark on it.
All right, that's at 6:40 here on Up North Sports Radio. Go Tigers. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to TVCAirport.com.
It's a 97 line.